subcommittee here today. My name is Anthony Marco from the Hamilton District Labour Council, and many of you know that I was here back during the budget process talking to you about how to make public transit more affordable to people in the City of Hamilton. And I want to start my comments by saying that any element of privatization that occurs within the LRT essentially eliminates the hope for making public transit affordable, because there is no way that the owner of an LRT line is going to allow you to make the HSR cheaper. Because as soon as that happens, people aren't going to take the LRT, they're going to take the HSR. And if we offer substantial discounts or even free rates for some people, there's going to be some kind of binding service agreement that you have with that organization that is going to fix what the transit costs are in this city. So on its face, we are against any level of privatization. But beyond that, I want to harken back to 2017. I noticed that in the report that was submitted by staff today, it spoke to a December motion from 2017 that they're saying, we had this motion in December of 2017, but it's not applicable because it was a previous LRT project. That's fair enough. There was a different motion in 2017. It was back from the summer of 2017. I know that there is only, I think, one incumbent councillor on the full council who was there at the time of that motion. The motion read that staff be directed to advise Metrolinx that the forthcoming operating and maintenance agreement between the City of Hamilton and Metrolinx Light Rail should include the Hamilton Street Railway as the party responsible to operate and maintain the new light rail transit line and any other future transit expansion in the City of Hamilton. So while I think staff can make an argument that the December motion doesn't necessarily apply to this iteration of the LRT, there was forethought in that summer motion to include any other future expansion. And that is why today I am saying the four options you have in front of you should be redundant until this council makes clear, or this committee and this council makes clear, their commitment to that motion that happened in 2017. And that motion said, everything should be run out of the HSR operations and maintenance. You've got four options in front of you that don't adhere to that council direction. We've heard about the possibility of an option 5 today. I think that would be a great option. In my mind, though, that should have been the only option, option 1. Now, if there's going to be people who argue and say, well, that was 6 years ago, we can't adhere to what was moved 6 years ago, there's a lot of other things that I bet you were moved at motion 6 years ago that we adhere to right now in this city and that we haven't gone back to and revisited. So I would suggest that if we are going to truly keep transit public in this city and not only have some ownership, some accountability, and some transparency with regards to the LRT, but keep control, ownership, and responsibility over public transit as a whole, we can't go both ways. You can't privatize one aspect of it and then keep the other public, because no owner-operator is going to come in and say, go ahead, if you want to give free public transit on the HSR, go ahead, but we're going to keep charging on the LRT. It's not going to happen. So I would urge, as we keep fighting for more and more free public transit in this city, don't hobble us at the gate. Don't sign any agreement or agree on any model or proposal which puts us in danger of that scenario. We want to make public transit more affordable. We know a lot of people around this room and a lot of people around the council table as well want to make transit more affordable. And I'm telling you, if a for-profit company comes in and gets involved in that model, gets involved in that aspect, we're never going to be able to do that. And ultimately, you've seen the failures in public and private partnerships across the province with regards to LRT. So please, let's have some second thought on this and take a look at the report today, and at the very least make a direction that staff and council go back to that 2017 motion from the summer and decide this applies to what we're doing right now. Let us keep and make sure that we are following that direction. And if council wants to reverse it, they can put in a reconsideration motion and get their 2/3 vote. Because to me, who's dealt with a lot of governance in my time at the Labour Council and through union meetings and a lot of Robert's rules and a lot of other rules, that would be the process to do to reverse a decision. So I would urge you to please keep that in mind. And I thank you for the work that you're doing on this. This is a big step for the City of Hamilton. And we have been for LRT the entire time, but we also want to make sure that whatever new line comes up in this city is accessible and affordable for the people who live in this city and the working class people who have to get to work every day. Thank you.
Thank you, Delegate Marco. Are there any questions for the delegate? I recognize Councillor Nan.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Delegate Marco, for your presentation and delegation today and for your consistency around advocating for accessible transit from an affordability perspective for not only working Hamiltonians, but all Hamiltonians. Appreciate that. In terms of the piece of information that you've identified as missing from the report and that summer motion from 2017, as a member of the community who's been watching this file closely, have you observed that item being integrated into the outstanding business list?
All I can say is that when I took a look at the report that was presented by staff in preparation for this meeting, at the very least I was expecting there to be an option on there that respected that motion, that said, here is an option if we want to do full operations and full maintenance. I was expecting there to be that option on there, and I could understand if there were some comparators, 1 to 4, just to say, here's what these would all look like. But ultimately, Council has given a direction. Council has taken a position. And at this point, I haven't seen anyone or any consideration of that motion in the report. And I think that there needs to be some level of clarification, probably not, maybe not during this meeting, but at some point before the next meeting, as to whether that council direction applies to this committee right now. To me, that difference in saying, and any other future transit expansion in the city of Hamilton, makes it pretty clear. And I don't know what process that would take to make sure that that could happen, but as far as I'm concerned, it would make an option 5, which allowed for full public transit, probably the only real option if we were going to say that that direction still applied.
Thank you. That's my only question, Chair.
Thank you very much. There are no further questions. Thank you for your attendance this morning. Now,